Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the Film Chill with yours truly. um, we got a very special episode planned for you today, and because today, as promised on my channel, we're going to be talking about the brand new Darth Maul TV show titled Maul Shadow Lord. Ooh, ooh, spooky.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, I'm really excited to talk about it, like I mentioned previously, because the last time I talked about Star Wars in here, just in general, was about 6 months ago when I had the person on named Andrew, or typical phase, part of one of the servers that we're in, and we kind of touched briefly on like the history. We didn't go into like full detail, but we can definitely do like a recap here,
Mhm.
kind of like refresh everything before we start talking about the show. And of course, I had to bring back JS for this because she also watched the show. And
Mhm.
how you doing?
I'm doing good, doing really, really good. Excited to talk about the show because honestly, one of the coolest Star Wars projects I've seen, and I've been oh man, it's incredible. I can't wait to talk about it.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Mhm.
And so we can kind of just segue into it right away with just overall history, not just with the show, but just our thoughts on Star Wars in general.
Mhm.
And by this point, we've seen like all the Star Wars media that's come out, like for like the
Mhm.
movies, a lot of the shows. I've seen some episodes of like the Clone Wars when it was initially airing on like Cartoon Network, and then just watching like clips on YouTube. But I haven't finished the full show yet. But I think kind of going into the show with Maul, I kind of already knew enough to where, like, okay, when this franchise started way back in like 1977, it really focused on like the Galactic Civil War with
Mhm.
like the rebels and the Empire. And obviously, that's what like everything is centered around nowadays,
Mhm.
basically. And so, like, already like watching all the movies, watching some of the show, and I kind of went into the show more so thinking about it as like its own separate story with Maul, like an original story, but obviously referencing like some events that happened in the
Mhm.
past. Cause like, I mean, we won't talk about spoilers right away, but we'll get to it later on. But like
Mhm.
certain things that happened, I've seen already. So I kind of had an idea of like what like his motivations were, why is he doing all this. And
Mhm.
I gotta say, overall, the show is like definitely fantastic for obviously the reasons that we'll get to later on.
Mhm.
But what were your kind of like history? How did you come across like with Star Wars and everything?
Definitely my dad. My dad was one of the biggest factors of introducing us to Star Wars, and it also kind of helped with my brother as well because we both, grew up on Star Wars, with the prequels and the video games such as The Force Unleashed, which is still one of my favorite video games to date.
Oh yeah,
And
great
I mean,
choice.
yeah, and then obviously too, Lego Star Wars: A Complete Saga. I mean, that game is a childhood classic. Like one of my favorite, Lego games that, TT Games has done. But yeah, Star Wars, yeah, Star Wars is just it's in my family. We love it. We literally every time like we go to the theaters nowadays, it's become a tradition to go see a Star Wars movie in theaters because of how it is with my family. And we've literally had pets with Star Wars names. So that kind of adds like a factor of how
Yeah,
much, yeah, how much the series means to us. But yeah, it all started with my dad. It all started with my dad, and I'm grateful that he showed me it, and ever since I was a little kid, is like as far as my memory can go, I absolutely love the franchise and I've stuck with it since.
definitely one of the biggest name franchises in
Mhm.
history. I don't think not too long ago I just rewatched like the original trilogy with like my
Mhm.
brother, and like thinking about how far this franchise has come over the years.
Mhm.
ups and downs. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but, like, overall, like, even with that, it's one of those franchises where you look at it, and I don't think the whole, like, pop culture media landscape would be the same. Like, it would be in a completely different light if, like, it didn't exist because like, it did a lot over
Yeah.
the years for sure.
Mhm.
Like, especially with, like, the impact that it had. Especially, I think, not too long after, I think, Jaws at the time, because Jaws was, like, another big movie at the time for the
Mhm.
summer with, like, 75, and then, like, 77, we got Star Wars, and then yeah.
Yeah, a lot of cool movies from the '70s, '80s, and even the '90s as well. Like that time period of movies was top, was top. And also, got to mention the 2000s, with Transformers, obviously. But yeah, that was like the pinnacle of pop culture movies back in like the '80s and '70s.
Oh, for sure,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah.
Funny that you talk about some of the games. So yeah, I love, like, what they did, expanding upon, like, the universe with still, again, kinda referencing, like, certain things that happen every now and then.
Mhm.
Like, for example, Force Unleashed, like you just mentioned previously.
Mhm.
Uh, the Lego games are actually kinda fun.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nostalgic because they do it's funny how they, like, reenact the movies with, like, funny, like, goofy little takes here and there.
Mhm. Yeah, and with not even like the characters using like words back then when it was just like grunts and stuff, that's like it's just like whenever you hear that, nostalgia just coming your way. And I will say that is one thing I did love whenever they did the Skywalker saga a few years ago is that they gave the option of no dialogue at all and just like the original grunt sound that they would make in the original games, which I thought was, really, really cool.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Hmm.
Not to mention all the memes that come out from some of them,
Yeah.
like, especially
Oh, yeah,
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 with, like
the death, like, stuff, like, the death sounds that they made with Yoda's is iconic. It's one of the most iconic sounds of all of
yeah,
gaming.
just the
Ugh,
normal Lego brick sound effects, like, that
mhm. Yeah. Mhm,
I think one of my favorites is it still has to be not just, like, Yoda. Yoda's iconic and classic,
mhm.
but, I really love iron ironically enough, Jar Jar Binks. This
Oh
is
my goodness, yeah. Yeah.
but I think hands down, my favorite has to go to Greedo,
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
The "Duh!"
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I also forgot Anakin's. This is another one of my favorites too. It's like,
Yeah, or, like, the
"Ah!"
rebel.
Yeah.
"Oh!"
Oh, man.
Uh, such good stuff. Like, a thought just occurred to me too, like, I kinda wanna go back to playing, like, some of those old Lego games.
Mhm,
Um, Because like, side note, I was watching some trailers for, like, the new Lego Batman game.
mhm.
Unfortunately, I can't play it right now, at least for right now, because the consoles that it's a part of, I unfortunately do not have.
Oh, no.
But I can at least play, like, the Skywalker Saga, which is kinda makes up for it, but
Yeah,
hopefully I can make up for the Batman one at some point because it actually
one
looks
day,
kinda fun.
one day, one day it'll happen.
One day,
One
one day.
day.
One of my other favorite kinda Star Wars related games is, I really love Battlefront overall.
Ooh.
Battlefront, especially
Mhm.
the originals, like, the remakes
Yeah,
they're okay,
yeah,
but, like, the original ones are just top tier.
yeah. I never really got to play the original Battlefront back as a kid because we didn't really have, like, the multiplayer type stuff because we weren't really interested in that at the time, but it wasn't until whenever they released the Classic Collection, that's where I'm like, "Okay, I could see why people back, like, in the early 2000s really, really loved, um, the old school not old school, like, the, previous versions of Battlefront, and
Mhm.
it was it's so, so fun, and I think definitely from the 2 that I've played, Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2 is definitely my favorite. I love that one, but
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah. Yeah, but the newer Battlefronts are still very, very fun to this day, especially Battlefront 2, because the numbers that they have for that game is incredible. Even, like, there's live service being shut down. Well, I guess no new updates, I should say. That yeah, that's the correct term. With like no new updates that haven't happened in like over 5 something years. I still, have a ton of fun with that because there's still a lot of people in that. And it's fun to do like heroes versus villains and then like some other modes as well that makes it fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
And I kind of agree with you in the fact that like I never really was interested in like the online stuff because like I mostly play like offline. I was
Mhm.
just like my general go to.
Yeah.
And I would say biggest nitpick with at least Battlefront 2, like offline when you're not doing online, because obviously there's more to do online, so that kind of helps elevate it a little bit more.
Mhm.
But like offline, there wasn't really much to offer in
Mhm.
terms of like stuff to do
Mhm.
because
Right,
it's
yeah.
mostly you only get like a few maps, certain characters here and there,
Mhm.
and like with at least the first Battlefront game that came out, like the remake for 2015, I want to say,
Mhm.
like granted, wasn't really much different in terms of like content to offer offline, but at least like that one, you get to not only do like ground battles, but you can
Mhm.
also do like air battle. I mean, granted, wasn't really like in space, but you get to still fly like ships, which was kind of cool.
Right, yeah. And one thing I loved about, like, the original like, not the original, but the 2015 version of Battlefront, I learned that you can still play, like, those modes offline, and you don't, like, have to worry about I think it's more so Galactic Assault, I think that's the one that you can really play online, but that offline is fantastic, just to play without, going online, and you still at least get the full experience, which I do love about that. And I also do wanna mention, um, the hype around Battlefront 2015 was crazy because I remember whenever those trailers came out, um, especially with, like, the Battle of Hoth, I absolutely, love that, and also too, the short films that people made, I somehow remember when that happened, like, people made some crazy short films, like fan films in that game, and it was incredible. The fact that as Luke and Vader, like if you have 2 separate controllers, you could just have them clash and it'll have like a lock duel happening. It's like, it's one of the coolest things that I think they did for that game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with like what you were saying about the whole like the hype and like the game mechanics with like the dueling and everything.
Mhm,
One cool thing that I found out, like with at least like Battlefront 2, the updated version was I kind of appreciate that. I mean, I don't know if the first game did that, at least off the top of my head. I kind of appreciate that the Battlefront 2 kind of integrated like an actual story too,
mhm,
like with
yeah,
the campaign,
mhm,
because obviously you have like the multiplayer stuff that you can do. And then they added like an actual story with like the Empire and like the TIE fighter pilots who
mhm,
I I don't think I finished it at the time, but I remember playing some of it.
mhm,
And I also remember with like them starting off as like Imperial TIE fighter soldiers, but then they switched over to the Rebel Alliance at some point.
mhm,
I mean, I think from what I've been hearing, the overall campaign for that kind of got some like mixed stuff here and there.
mhm,
But like at least from what I played, I didn't really mind it like too much
mhm,
overall.
yeah. I recently finished the campaign, like, recently on PC because I didn't realize I played the campaign on PC. I played it before on PlayStation, but not on PC, but I had an absolute blast with it. I played it from start to finish for both the Empire era and also the, First Order era, and I absolutely loved, those DLCs and not DLC, but, the campaign, and that was really, really fun because like, you got to see really, like, how, I guess, some Imperials kinda defected after they realized it's like, "Whoa, wait a minute, the Empire is not doing something that I thought that they were doing because I don't wanna spoil it for any, person who hasn't played it yet, but in the campaign, they really did have a moment where it's just like, "Whoa, what the heck is happening?" And they were like, "Yeah, we don't follow with this, so we're just gonna go side with the rebellion." But yeah, I loved, what they did with that, and yeah, I guess Battlefront 2015 did have a little bit of campaign stuff, but I think it was more like a minigame essence type thing, but those were, still very, very fun to play as well, especially, like, playing as Darth Vader, the Emperor. Yeah. The 2017 Battlefront campaign, I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah, it definitely had.
Mhm.
Aspect that I liked about it too was like it had actual like space starfighter battles, which I kind of wish like offline stuff had for those two games. Like just the thought of having space battles with those updated graphics would be like so cool.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, like I said, at least like with the first game, you still get like even though they're not in space, you get like the air battles, like the air
Mhm.
battle combats, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Definitely 2 more games that I will mention before we start talking about, like, diving into the show.
Mhm.
Um, I definitely really I will say one of my other favorite games, Bounty Hunter, Star
Ooh.
Wars Bounty Hunter, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like even though at the time I wasn't really too much into, like, Mandalorian stuff, I didn't hate it, just never really caught my eye over the years.
Mhm.
I will say Battle or not Battle I almost said Battle Um, Bounty Hunter, I think, had a really cool and interesting story because
Mhm.
it helped to do more with the character of Jango Fett, and
Mhm.
Jango Fett was already a cool character at the time, but it helped to expand more on, like, him being, like, super cool.
Yeah.
And again, just that overall, like, story of him, like, hunting down, like, the Sith for, like, the amount of credits, and it really helped to explain some things too, because
Mhm.
slight spoilers here, but it helped to explain like certain stuff that set up Attack of the Clones.
Mhm.
Granted, love or hated, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. I absolutely love, like, how different media connects to, certain worlds like comics, and then, of course, what we've talked about with the games and stuff, and then the shows, and I do love that they were able to do that. Now, granted, I've never played Bounty Hunter, just a little confession, but I have seen some stuff on it, and what you mentioned about the Attack of the Clone connection was one of the things I did see, and I thought that that was, fantastic that they did. And yeah, it's really cool. And one day I will play it. One day. And for anyone watching this, I will play it. Trust me, I will. So don't worry, don't worry.
How dare you? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. um, but no, I did. Jokes aside, I highly recommend it. It's actually a really fun, good game overall.
Mhm,
Kind of challenging at certain points, but one is a game that all games have like challenging moments. But obviously, that doesn't hurt the game at all.
mhm.
I know it's on PS2 when it initially came out. I think I might have seen it come out for, like, PlayStation 4. It's just really hard to find nowadays because like, it's either out of stock or I think I've seen a few copies online, like,
Mhm.
through Amazon that are, like, ridiculously, like, pricey.
Yeah, and they're the physical copies that you can get are from limited run, which typically those are expensive, so it's just like, unfortunately, I gotta do digital. I love physical media. I mean, whenever it comes to movies or games or comics or whatever it is, I will try to get my hands on something if it's physical media. But if it's not, oh man, it drives me crazy. But I mean, if I have no choice, then why not? I'll try it on digital. So yeah.
And then for the last well, I kinda lied. There's one more game I kinda wanna talk about. Well, 2 more games.
You're good, you're good.
Um, definitely the Old Republic, especially with
Ooh.
those cinematic trailers.
Mhm.
Oof.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I think definitely one of my favorites that I've seen gameplay of. I mean, I played a little bit of it, like, personally, but I've seen the whole entire campaign of the Eternal Empire with, oh, what's his one name? He's like the Immortal Emperor or something like that. I know who it is, but, um yeah, the whole Eternal Empire saga that they have and, like, the post part of that is probably one of, like, the coolest, things I've seen. Of course, with, the Sith Lords and stuff, like, throughout the Old Republic, but yeah, that game is just crazy, but crazy in a good way. 'cause
Oh,
it's
yeah, for
awesome.
sure.
It's really, really awesome. Cause literally, you could put yourself in the game, and you could put yourself in Star Wars, and it's awesome, and I love it.
Yeah, like, unfortunately, I haven't really played a lot of those games,
Mm.
a confession of mine.
Play it
But
around. I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
no, you're good. I might play it at some point, I just don't know when, but, like,
Mhm,
just those cinematic trailers alone were kinda
mhm.
really got me hooked on that series as a whole because just, like, from what they presented, it kinda opened up new, like, lore things here and there, which I thought was kinda cool, and I think some of my favorite Siths come from
Yeah.
these games as a whole. Like, a few would be, like, Revan, Nihilus,
Mhm,
Malgus, Merrick. Like, maybe not necessarily, like, history-wise, but design-wise.
mhm.
I will
One of
say
the
that
coolest designed Sith lords that we've ever seen.
I will
One of the
say
coolest.
Nihilus is, like, crazy. I watched some, like, history on that, and Nihilus is just, ooh, crazy.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, hands down, one of probably, if not one of my favorite games that not only I've played a little bit of, unfortunately, haven't finished it, but I've seen, like, gameplay of it, like, even before, I started playing it, but hands down, one of my all-time favorite games, Republic Commando.
Yes!
Oh
I love Republic
my
Commando!
god.
Oh my gosh.
I could talk about those, like, all day, but,
Mhm.
I'll save that for a separate discussion at a later
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
But, dude, dude, that
The
entire opening sequence from the beginning after you, like, initially click start all the way to the first mission on Geonosis, like, yeah, yeah.
absolute cinema.
Yeah.
Absolute cinema. And also to point out as well, the main menu music alone, the main menu music,
Yeah.
cinema. Absolute cinema.
Oh, for sure.
I wanna see if it's on Spotify. Because if it is, I will listen to it on loop. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's just, like, straight up chills, and,
Mhm.
like, in a good way, and
Mhm.
just, like, seeing that, it's like, why didn't they adapt this for some of the
Right.
movies?
I will say though, it is cool that they did have the commando armor in, the Clone Wars, like, TV show from 2008,
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
think they
cool.
did yeah, Scorch, I believe, is in it, which is
Mhm.
cool, which is really, really cool, and I love that.
Think I might have seen, like, a clip or 2 somewhere, but I remember that being in there. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, I really love that game. I just love the overall style I was going for, the story. It's really kinda cool listening to, like, some videos on, like, the history and, like, how the Delta Squad, I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think Delta Squad came together,
Mhm.
all the different unique abilities that you can do. It's kinda cool, like, how you can, command, like, the squad to do, like, certain things based on, like, the attributes that they have, like, with
Mhm.
Fixer, you can, like, slice through and, like, hack through, like, security systems.
Mhm.
Scorch
Yeah.
with, like, the bombs and everything. Sev as, like, the assassin sniper, which was
Mhm.
cool.
And of course, Delta Leader, I'm trying to remember his name, but
Boss, I think.
yeah, Boss. He was cool too. Tamora Morrison returning for the role as a clones, amazing. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he, like, the clone sergeant that was with him? Do you know what I'm
Mm,
talking like, the clone who was kinda like, he gave, like, the squad the missions to, like, go to, I think.
yeah, I think he might have. I don't necessarily remember. I might have to look at the castings after this, to see, but he might have, but I don't know.
Gotcha. No, it's all good. Because
Yeah.
I know Scorch, Fixer, and Sev were different actors,
Mhm.
like, voice actors, and Boss was, the Tamora Morrison
Yeah.
person.
Mhm. Which I
I
do
just
love yeah, which I do love that for the clones, it's like they give them, like, their own personalities and their own voices as well, it's like, it doesn't have to be, similar, but they have, like I love that they have, like, their own personalities and literally even, like, the Clone Wars showed that, and even with the Bad Batch too, like, they are from the same, like, person whenever they were cloned, but they each have, like, their different voices and personalities, and it's really, really cool.
And, like, touching briefly on, like, going back to Bounty Hunter real quick, like, the same voice actor was Jango Fett in that, and I
Mhm,
think I mean, granted, it was on PS2, so, like, I guess graphics weren't really well, for the time, they were good, but, like, in today's standards, they're probably not the best, but I think they captured, like, the overall likeness of
mhm,
that guy, which was, I thought, kinda cool to see. Again,
yeah,
another nice touch.
mhm, I agree.
So, I guess with that in mind, we'll now start talking about the show overall, unless
Mhm.
there was anything else you wanted to add briefly.
Oh, no, 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 I'm good, I'm good. I'm ready to talk about the Shadow Lord.
Oh,
Really
yes,
ready, yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
We're not gonna take out the whole empire.
So, for those, we're just gonna talk full blown spoilers. If you haven't seen the show yet and you don't want to get spoiled, I will definitely say one of my favorite Star Wars medias, like pieces of Star Wars media, I will definitely say because like over the years, similar thoughts with Marvel. Like some of the newer stuff has been kind of like, nothing really grabbing my attention. But
Mhm.
stuff like The Mandalorian and this show, I will definitely say helped to reignite that spark, if you will.
Yeah, literally, literally, I agree with that.
So yeah, for the most part, both really enjoyed it. Highly recommend y'all check it out.
Mhm,
And with that in mind, let's get into Maul Shadow Lord with one of the biggest things that I will say. I adored the animation, what they did. One of my coworkers that I work with is a big Star Wars fanatic as well. And
mhm,
I didn't really hear much about the show going into it outside of like Maul's getting a show on his own,
mhm,
and which was kind of cool because I think he's definitely a very popular character, especially in today's standards. Like I
mhm,
remember for the Clone Wars, like the Clone Wars TV show, when that
mhm,
was coming out, when they announced like Darth Maul was coming back and he survived. I think I remember fans like freaking out over it
mhm.
positively,
Yeah,
and for
yeah.
good reason.
Mhm, yeah,
um, but like hearing her talk about like the show overall kind of got me interested. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just jump right into it because again, kind of like what I talked about towards the beginning. I haven't finished Clone Wars yet, but I'm rewatching it as right now as we speak at the time of this recording. I
mhm,
haven't seen like any of the other Star Wars shows like Ahsoka, Bad Batch, kind of anything that might tie into like what happened with like the Clone Wars and just like general Star Wars like narrative overall with the Skywalker saga. I kind of skipped out, but mainly just because like not for a bad reason. I just wanted to finish Clone Wars first.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, especially because that show is, like, 7 seasons long with, like, 22 episodes in, like, the first 5 seasons, but not too many episodes in the last 2, but it's still a big show overall, it's still a big show.
But yeah, no, like jumping into it, the animation is beautiful
Mhm,
because one of the biggest things that I notice, and like especially with her talking about it, pretty much the similar animation that you all know and are familiar with, like especially what they do with like the season 7 style animation. In the
mhm,
foreground, it's very detailed, but in the background, it almost gives off like I want to say like watercolor or oil
yeah,
pastel type of feel, which
mhm,
is actually really unique and
mhm,
cool
yeah,
overall.
and I do believe they did actually use paintings, I could be wrong on this, if not, if I am, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure they did have, like, artistic background, like, stuff for those shots, and what they did for that was absolutely beautiful, especially, like, during the nighttime scenes. That's when it really, really popped out and made it so cinematic, and I loved what they did with that. It was it was very, very beautiful, but yeah, definitely water pastel type thing, artistic type of, style, hand painted. It just looked incredible. It really, really did.
Yeah, that was one of the big things that stuck out to me. And another thing that stuck out to me was like how they handled Maul overall. All the way back in the Phantom Menace when he first gets introduced. Like they don't really explain too much about his history. He just kind of is there. You just
Hmm.
find out like he's an apprentice to Sidious at the time, and obviously like going into like the Clone Wars show later on, he ends up getting betrayed, and he's basically out for revenge. But he's kind of like a schemer in the way he tries to like go out and plot for revenge. He's very like almost scheming in a way.
Yeah, very, very calculated, very mastermind type of, thought process. And he's really smart whenever it comes to like trying to do what he wants to do. Like, get an apprentice, which we'll talk about further until we go about Maul Shadow Lord, but about like what you mentioned with his revenge and stuff, especially against Obi-Wan after what he did to Maul. Like he is a mastermind, but a very, very scary mastermind at that. And very dangerous as well.
Not necessarily like revenge against Obi-Wan, but with Darth Sidious as well, because like you
Hmm.
find out uh I forgot which episode it was. I think it was like episode 7 or 8. Because they essentially explain like what happened and why he became a Sith. He was essentially taken from like his home,
Yeah.
and he was forcefully trained under Darth Sidious, and for him to like do that and then betray him later on,
Hmm.
it's like, damn.
Yeah.
You really feel
Yeah.
sorry. And it's actually kinda cool how they do, like, the flashback sequences as well.
Hmm.
Like, when him and, like, the really heavy dust and, like, he's
Hmm.
seeing all these visions
Hmm.
from his head. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I basically like described it as like, yes, Maul, I do agree. Maul did some very, very terrible things. But it feels like to me a he's just a tragic character. Like dude got taken away from his home, his brother, and was tortured to be trained by the Sith and was just cast aside after episode 1 after he thought he was dead, like the Emperor thought he was dead. And since then it's just been nothing but heck towards him. And it's really, 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 really sad. And I'm gonna mention this for right now, but seeing him break down like that and crying, seeing like his past self, that broke me. That broke me. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, man, I'm not supposed to feel bad because you're a villain, but it's just like, it just really like takes that mindset. And it's just like, it makes me feel conflicted, it's just like, I, it's just, but he is a cool character though. And it wasn't really until this show. I will mention, like, I did find him cool, like, throughout, episode 1 and, of course, through the Clone Wars and Rebels. Like, I always thought, he was a really, really, really cool character, but it really wasn't until this episode or this show that I should say that he has become a top 5 favorite, like, villain for me. He has some great character development and great character depth, and I love what they did with this one, especially for his character in this show.
Oh, easily, 100%. And, like, for me, on my side, I already loved the character initially, but I think after watching the show, it really helped to elevate my love for him even more. Like, this show makes me wanna pick up the Black Series figure that's coming out.
I know, dude. I can't wait for that. And also the Funko Pop too. I've been seeing that at Target and I'm like, why am I holding back on getting it? I want to get it so bad. Oh, I want to display him like on the shelf or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just really, really cool. Yeah.
Really loved what they did with the character of Maul overall, and I can't wait to see him. Obviously, it's not gonna stop here. There's gonna be, I would assume, more seasons, if not at least a season 2 for right now,
Hmm.
and I can't wait to see what they do with him going forward. Let's talk about some of the other characters that were kinda introduced, and, I believe his name was Detective Lawson.
Yeah. Brander Lawson. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's cool.
It's kinda cool to see him, like, with the police task force that he was working for, and he was really trying his best, not only just to capture Maul, but to keep the Empire out of it. Because once the Empire gets involved, yeah, it just goes
Yeah, literally
downhill.
just goes downhill from there. It's like, if there's any I mean, I 100% get Two Boots was trying to follow protocol, and that's what he does. He's literally a droid that follows protocol, but it's just like, it really backfires. Once you call the Empire, there's no going back. They're not gonna leave you alone. They're gonna stay there. Even if Maul or, Devin, which we'll talk about later, um, whenever they're captured, oh, they're not gonna leave the planet. They're not gonna leave because they don't care about peace and justice for the civilians of the galaxy. They only care about it for themselves.
Yeah. And it kinda sucked too, because you really the way that they presented that kinda made you root for him in a way, because like, he was really trying his best, like, he was aware of, like, what the Empire could do. He wasn't
Mhm.
like he wasn't by any means like, "Hey, who are these people over here now?"
Right, yeah.
No, he was aware, and he's like, "No, we're I really gotta try to, like, do this without them."
Yeah,
I want
I love that he wasn't, like, giving up on, his chase for Maul. Like, I love that he wasn't it just shows that he didn't give up, and that was awesome. And now that's brave of Lawson too. It's really, really brave of Lawson, and I give him so much, respect for that because Maul is a hard person to capture. He's a former Sith Lord, he's a Force user, and it's just crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And fun fact about Lawson that I kind of noticed very early on, especially watching the show. If you and for those watching are familiar with Puss in Boots and The Last Wish, the voice actor who plays Lawson plays Death in that movie, like the main villain for that.
Mm.
I mean, granted, I don't know if that's true or not, but like the voice sounded very similar to that.
Mhm.
It might be the same, it might not, I don't know, but it just sounded very similar. I'm like, hey, I kind of know this voice.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Let's touch briefly on like Two Boots because you kind of talked about a lot of like the points briefly, which definitely agreed with. It kind of had a very interesting design, like those protocol droids overall.
Mhm.
And again, kind of like what you were mentioning, following protocol, but at the same time, at first, she kind of like, like, wow, really?
It's like, "We were trying, Tibbets, we were trying," but, I mean, I can't be mad at him. He's just doing what
Yeah,
he's
no.
supposed to do,
And he kind
and
of made up for it towards the end. Like, he
yeah.
kind of felt bad for, like, what he ended up doing. Like, he realized the mistake that he made. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it a mistake, but, like, I guess he wasn't really aware. Because, again, he's following protocol, but, like, really deep down, I don't think he was aware of, like, what the Empire was truly capable of
Mhm.
until they, like, showed up to the planet of Janix, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then, like, towards the end of the series, he kinda, like, makes up for it by, like, helping Lawson's son escape from prison because he gets captured at one point.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Um,
that kinda made up for it.
yeah. And I was just, like, thinking just now, it's just like going, to different movies here for Transformers: Dark of the Moon, right? Sam brought up that, Optimus, made a mistake in that by bringing Sentinel. And whenever Optimus is like, I was so wrong, it's like, well, it makes him human for a change. And that's with Two Boots. He felt bad and it's a human moment. It's what humans do.
Mhm.
We mess up. And I like that. I like what they did for Two Boots. He's like, I realized my mistake. I was wrong. I'm gonna go to my friend's side and I'm gonna help them out. Which I
Yeah,
thought
for
was cool,
sure.
yeah.
So, yeah, 2 Boots made up for it. I can't really be too upset with them
Mhm,
overall. Next, I kinda wanna save, like, the Jedi and, like, the Inquisitors for last, but
mhm,
we can kinda talk about some of the crew members that were with, like, Maul and his, like, secret underground
mhm,
organization, which I haven't seen season 7 yet, but
mhm,
I was kinda able to piece some things together, I think,
mhm,
that I assume, like, some of the crew members that were with Maul were from, like, The Purge of Mandalore, because
mhm.
the lady Mandalorian
Yeah, Rook
even
cast,
mentions
yeah.
it, yeah. Bo Cass, I think, yeah, that was the name.
Yeah,
Even
Rook,
mentions
Rook
it too,
cast.
like, "I've been with you since the Purge of Mandalore," so I'm like, "Okay, she must have been from there."
Mhm,
Um, I thought they were really cool overall. just like a
Mhm.
mix of like Mandalorians and then like who like Darth Maul grew up with because they looked very similar to him
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. They're really, really cool, and, of course, we'll talk about, what happened at the end of episode 9. Yep. That was crazy. But yeah, I think definitely Maul's crew is, very interesting, especially, Rook. Like, even though Maul makes some decisions that, they might not agree with from time to time, even like some of the other Mandalorians, I love that she was very, loyal to Maul, and like it just shows that like maybe he did have a friend after all, and Rook was, that person. I mean, he probably didn't consider her a friend, but she's very loyal to him. And I think that's what made it very cool. And also the brothers. I love those two. They're
Oh yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think another thing too is just like part of like the Mandalorian code that they follow, like whoever leads Mandalore, like who's the leader of like Mandalore, they like stick with it no matter what.
Hmm.
Or kind of like that whole vibe essentially, which I thought was kind of cool, but again, it was more so just like maybe like they saw each other as actual like friends,
Hmm.
considering like what they've been through
Yeah.
from like that timing until like the end of the Clone Wars to pretty much the show. I definitely agree. I love the brothers. I love the look of the Mandalorians. I love the droid. The
Yeah.
little
Oh
droid
my gosh.
thing.
Yes. Okay. I have a question. Did he kind of remind you of like either Frenzy or any of like Soundwave's, little mini
A
cons
little
and
bit.
stuff?
Just
Yeah.
a smidge.
He
Just a
really
smidge.
yeah. Um Spybot really did remind me of like Frenzy or any of them. Like really, really, really did. Especially like the way that he was talking and stuff. It's just like, oh my gosh, I could see Frenzy. I can really, really, really see it.
Yeah, smile, smile, smile at the camera.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
no, I really dug that droid. I
Mhm.
love that droid. Little droid, he was so cool. No.
Rest in peace, Spybot.
Uh, but yeah, the droid is cool. The overall crew is nice. You can kind of touch briefly on like the Empire overall with like the designs of like the ships, the troopers, all the vehicles that they drive, and I actually kind of like the look of the stormtroopers overall. It's similar to like what we know and love, but it's very updated like for today's times. And I thought they looked really cool overall.
Mhm.
And it was kinda cool to see them bring back the gunships, like the
Yeah.
LAT gunships,
Mhm.
because those are my personal favorite vehicles for Star Wars, but, like, it was cool seeing them again, but, like, as a little joke, I'm like, "Oh, it's not the same." Just seeing the gunships, it's like, it doesn't feel the same.
Right, yeah. It's just like they're with the Empire now, but I just remember the good times. I just gotta remember the good times, not the bad times. The good times.
But I thought that was really cool bringing back the gunships because that was a nice touch. I remember at the end of like episode 4 when like the Star Destroyer initially arrives and after Two Boots was like, "I hope you can forgive me as well," and he realized what he did,
Mhm.
and just seeing the ship like the Star Destroyer hover overhead, I'm like, "The Empire has arrived."
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Just like the moment you see them, it's like, well,
there we go.
it's like, well, you may be wondering how I got in this situation in the first place type moment right there.
Let's backtrack real quick, and then it shows everything. It just there, all caught up.
Empire, just imagine like Empire just arrives and then just the credits roll and it's just like, that it? That's it? Well, everyone's dead.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yep, season's over. Bye.
All right, we can go home. Not nuts.
Yep, I guess.
um, but yeah, no, I thought they looked good overall. Let's talk about, I guess, Riley and Vario. Me personally, I didn't hate them, but they were kind of just like, for me.
Mhm.
I maybe it's just because like they didn't really do too much throughout the course of the show, but they're kind of just like, eh.
Yeah.
At least for me, anyways.
Mhm. Yeah, Vario, I love Vario. He's funny. Um, And especially at the beginning in, like, the show where they had, like, their own, like, chicken parmesan, like, chicken cheese parmesan. I mean, that looked good. Like, the first thing I like, whenever I was, like, thinking, it's like, "Are we having chicken parmesan? I wanna have that because of this show." But, yeah, that whole, like I like Mario, he's cool, he's funny, especially with the comics too, like, they've been, like, tying that with the show, which I think is really cool, and the newest issue came out yesterday, but I don't wanna go into too much, but it's interesting to see, Vario's dynamic with Lawson, beforehand, but yeah, with Riley, I think, he's really, really cool. And it's cool to see, Charlie Bushnell, who many, who have seen him before in the new Percy Jackson series, does a phenomenal job in that show. And he does a phenomenal job in this show. And I absolutely loved what he did with this character. And seeing him, Riley and Lawson really, really connect through their time on the run, it's really, really sweet. It really, really is. And I'm glad that they were able to be together again and unfortunately on bad circumstances because, they're being hunted by the Empire, but it's really, really bittersweet,
Mhm.
especially at the end where oh my God, dude, the ending. Whew, which we'll talk about that, later and stuff. But
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I love their relationship in the show.
Something about Vario that I kind of found funny, like you were talking about a couple seconds ago, how the spy bot, when you were asking me about how the spy bot reminded you of like Frenzy or like any of the cassettes for Soundwave.
Hmm.
Did Vario kind of remind you of Steve Buscemi in a way?
Kinda, yeah. I
Es- Especially
Vario's
with like how he talked and like his mannerisms.
Vario's the Starscream of Star Wars.
The Randall, the
Yeah.
Randall of Star Wars.
True, yeah, from Monsters Inc., yeah.
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 I found that funny. It was again kind of cool to see like maybe not necessarily the actors themselves, but like when they talk, the voices sound very familiar
Mhm. Yeah.
for sure. And then last but most certainly not least for the character section of the show, let's talk about both the Jedi and the Sith Inquisitors of the show.
Are we gonna
I know
save,
there's
yeah,
there's
I was
one
like
more, but nope.
I was, like, thinking it's like, we'll save that one specifically for, like, last, like, later part of this show, so, yeah, we'll save that for last.
When we get to the fight, so we'll anyways.
Yeah. It's like,
uh
"Wait, well, we'll get there, don't worry,
Here,
guys."
well, let's talk about here, we'll start with the Jedi with Devin and then Master Daki. I thought
Mhm,
they looked kind of cool overall in terms of like character designs and like
mhm,
how that overall idea of like how some Jedi were able to survive the overall purge of the Jedi Temple. And I thought they were just interesting characters overall.
mhm,
Um, I really loved. Oh god, it's like I want to talk about something that happens early on, but it's like I'm saving that for the fight and like the
mhm,
sequences. But just
yeah,
overall, the way that those characters were handled, I thought they were really cool.
mhm,
And I really loved how like Daki was just like a wise, noble, like Jedi Master trying to teach Devin about certain things. I was kind of curious and where how they were gonna handle it because I didn't know if she's gonna be like a bratty like team, but she was fine basically.
mhm,
I
yeah.
didn't really have any issues with them.
Yeah. I love Devin and Docky. I think definitely the highlight of the show for me, like the character overall highlight of who I thought was absolutely awesome in this one was Devin. Maul comes close, but Devin, I feel like her character story throughout this just intrigued me. It was just like, is she gonna go to the dark side at this moment? Is she gonna snap at her master? Because I honestly, I'll talk about this like later on when it comes to like the later part. um, I honestly thought that she was just gonna be done with her master and just turn on him, but we know what happens now. And yeah, I did love their dynamic though. It's like a great mentor and student dynamic that they had. And yeah, with Devin, it was very, very intriguing to see like her internal conflict of what she thought was good, what she thought was bad, and all that, and Maul planting all these things in her mind. It was just it was just crazy, and I think overall Devin probably for me is my favorite character of the show, 100%.
I kinda just liked how Maul was just essentially it's just like, "I don't care that you exist, I'm taking this Jedi on as my apprentice no matter what. I
Mhm.
don't care what you say."
Yeah, even Maul was like to, Rook and stuff, like, she was a little doubtful if Devin would even side with him, but no, he had faith like, Maul had faith in Devin in, like, this whole entire show, and
Mhm.
that was intriguing. That was really, really, really intriguing, and I think Rook, like, a little bit after, never doubted him about it until, like, later-ish, but yeah.
Oh, for sure, and, like, obviously, it was gonna take some time, but, like, it was kinda working into his favor in a way because like, he was very patient, like,
Mhm,
especially what he's been through over the years. I kind of find it cool, like, how he over time, not just with this show, but, like, media, like, with, like, the Clone Wars and Rebels, that kinda introduced him
mhm,
back into the light, kinda showed him, like, developed as, like, being very patient, and again,
mhm,
cold and calculating with, like, what he
yeah,
does. But yeah, Devin was cool, Daki, again, just that overall almost like a father figure in a way. I just liked his design overall.
mhm, I agree.
And from the Jedi to obviously, because you gotta include some Sith Inquisitors, we
Mhm.
gotta talk about some of the the two big ones that got introduced. And there's the 11th brother. I forgot the name of the other one who kind of looked very.
Oh, Merrick, he's the first
Oh,
brother.
he's Merrick, right?
Yep,
Okay.
Merrick, the first brother, which is honestly interesting. So I guess
Mhm.
he's like, if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong, if someone in the comments wants to correct me. Basically, the first brother is like, I believe, I guess like number one in like the rank. I have no idea. I'm still trying to learn about like the Inquisitor, like not hierarchy, but like Inquisitor ranks. But I'm pretty sure they had Marok as the first brother for a reason because of how incredibly scary he is, but also how much of like a smart person he is, especially using like psychometry, which whenever okay, I've just gotta say, whenever he used that ability to track Daki, Maul, and Devin, throughout the whole entire show. Him using psychometry was one of the coolest things because, like, Cal had it, Cal Kestis from the Fallen Order video games, and then also Quinlan Voss as well. I think that's probably one of the coolest abilities, and them using it in this is very very cool. And I love what they did with Marok in this one, and also um the Crow, the 11th brother. He's scary. He's really really scary, but
Oh, for
cool.
sure.
Yeah.
Had a lot of aura to him. Like somebody else. Anyways. um I really like I think the 11th I liked Merrick, don't get me wrong, especially, like, I kinda liked how they had them, like, interrogate some of, like, the people, like, some of the main cast. I
hmm
thought that was kinda cool, but I think the 11th brother is probably one of my other favorites from the show, personally, outside of Maul, obviously,
hmm
and he's the other figure I would probably definitely grab. Just a
hmm
really sick design overall.
hmm I agree.
And I guess now we can kinda just move into the fight sequences because I really just wanna talk about some of the
Yes.
fights.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
For starters, I think it was really cool, like, you still had stuff focusing on, like, the Empire and, like, not really much necessarily a lot doing with, like, the Clone Wars and, like, battles here and there. They still found a way to include, like, lightsaber fights and, like, just general, like, ground battles, which I thought was really cool. And
Mhm.
the lightsaber s bleh. The
I
lights
get that, I get
the
that.
lightsaber let's see how you do a lightsaber fight. Let me take the next 30 minutes or so. Uh,
Oh my goodness.
comment section, you do your thing. No, um, no, but the lightsaber fights were actually really, really cool. Some of my favorite sequences, like especially when Devin first meets Maul at the beginning. Like obviously, like he knows that like Devin's like a little on edge because of like
Mhm,
what he's capable of and like his history. But he's trying to convince him like, hey, I'm not like what you think I am, essentially.
mhm,
And the way that like she steals one of the lightsabers and like trying to fight him, but like Maul essentially toys with him or with
Mhm.
her. I thought that was a really cool sequence.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that comes from, like, episode 3.
It does, yeah, and I will say one thing I did love about the show was that it really gave me thriller and horror vibes. Like, I
Mhm.
was thriving like, literally, whenever Maul was stalking Devin in episode 3, you could see, like, his shadow right here or something, but whenever she would, like, turn the lightsaber, like, his aura would just go away. Like, you can't see him anymore, and I thought that that was perfectly, shot and stuff, and, even, like, the Sith and stuff, like, whatever they did with the Sith was horrifying, but I love that they included, like, horror elements into this, and it made it really, really cool. I imagine us as horror fans, we were loving that, and it was awesome.
Oh, for sure, and perfect example from that, later on towards the end of the series when they have to, like, leave like, their underground base that they were in, and
Mhm.
they're traveling through, like, the sewers and, like, underground, and they're crossing, like, that acid river,
Yeah.
and Daki sense something is up. Something is going on, and, like, he ignites the lightsaber. It, like, zooms in on, like, where they came out of,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden, the 2 brothers just come in out of nowhere, just like
Yeah. Freaking Five Nights at Freddy's moment right there. Like, I don't even know if they did a dolly zoom, which is kind of feel like something they would use in, like, a horror film, but, like, what they did there was very, very scary, and like what you mentioned with the jump scare, that was funny. Not funny, but not funny. Uh, wrong choice of words there. Whoa. That was scary. That was very,
Oh, for
very
sure.
scary. Yeah.
The sound design for, like, the lightsaber fights are really cool with, like, how, like, they clash, they ignite. A fun fact, like, behind the scenes thing that I learned, like, from my coworker when she was telling me about it, some of the sounds that are used, like, especially with screams and, like, they're the similar from, like, how you saw it in the movies, like, especially, one big thing that stuck out to me when Maul was in, like, the cave after fighting, like, the 2 Inquisitors and, like, he gets injured and, like, he jumps out and does, like, that spinning move with the
Mhm.
lightsaber. That scream was the same thing from when the Emperor or sorry, when Palpatine gets revealed to be Sidious, the Dark Lord, and he does, like,
Mhm.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was really I was like, "Oh, shoot."
Mhm. I love which I'm pretty sure 100% Sidious taught him that. 100%. I mean, if he was his apprentice, he taught him that. 100%.
And, like, just him, like, just screaming, like, that was from the actor too as well, like, all the screams that you hear.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of the ground battles were really good too, like, some of the highway chases, when they're fighting on the bridge and they get surrounded by, like, the Empire from both sides.
Mhm.
Oh, so cool. They do a lot of, like, unique camera shots with that when Maul throws, like, the lightsaber spinning, cuts the 3 troopers, and the camera's spinning the entire time, and he catches it. I'm like, "Oh,
Ooh.
they are, like, grilling and cooking with some of this."
Mhm. And I wanna mention about some of, like, the poses he did or, like, some of the attacks that he did, like, whenever he threw the lightsaber at the AT-ST, um, like, the early version of the AT-ST, I should say, it was kinda a little reminiscent to, The Force Unleashed, but then whenever he was in the cave and he had, like, the 2 lightsabers behind his back, which, of
Oh,
course, I can
yeah.
imagine of, like, Ahsoka, but it really reminded me of Starkiller from The Force Unleashed too. 'Cause he did
Mhm.
have, like, that similar thing too in that game, and, Maul being played by Sam Witwer, who also voiced Starkiller in the game, it makes so much sense, but also too, it's a very, very nice, like, callback to that, which I thought was, very, very cool.
Not just, like, voice, but, like, I think kinda similar to Bounty Hunter with, like, the likeness of the actor who played Jango Fett. I think they used like, the likeness was used for that game as well
Yep,
with Starkiller, yeah.
yep, that's true.
Which is cool, and yeah, that's a really good point that you brought up with, like, some of, like, those similar nods to The Force Unleashed with, like, the sabers behind the back, him cutting down, like, the AT-ST, which I thought was kinda cool. I
Mhm.
almost saw, like, when he cut it, like, after I think he cuts one of the legs off and then, like, throws the lightsaber up the middle, I thought it was gonna, like, split in half, but I
Yeah,
don't
I
think it
thought it
did.
was Yeah, I thought it was going to as well, but you know what? That's okay.
Oh, for sure. And again, like I said, some of the highway sequences were really cool with like them driving on like the speedways. I really love the bridge sequence. I think that's one of my favorite fights from that show when they get surrounded by like the Imperials. Oh, I almost forgot to mention one of the other characters that were introduced briefly. I forgot her name, but like it was pretty much the one who was kind of like the bounty hunter at the time, but really good friends with Lawson and
Oh, yeah, mhm. Yeah, I know who
um
you talked about, yeah.
yeah, I think she was the one who got them the ship. Of course, the Empire found out about it, and then yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. It's like, "That screams trap." It just screams trap. Yep.
It's a trap.
It's a trap!
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, a lot of good sequences, a lot of good fights. Animation's beautiful. I really love some of the character directions that they go with here. But of
Mhm.
course, when you think they couldn't top anything, they just elevate that bar 2, 3, 4, pretty much the highest bar that it can go to.
Well,
That's where
it'll just go to space. It'll just go to another galaxy at this point.
yeah, exactly. It's just the never-ending bar that just keeps stretching.
It's just infinite. It's just infinity. It really is. It's infinite. Whoop.
Yep, for
Yep.
sure. And I think it's finally time to introduce dun 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 dun. The
Lord Vader,
oh my
rise.
goodness. Initially, like before watching the show, obviously, of course, um, I saw the thumbnail at one point, which whatever, sure. It is what it is. On
Mhm,
YouTube, I wasn't even intending, but of course, obviously people have to post clips here and there. But
mhm.
listen, it's fine. I'm not angry about that. I saw a spoiler for one of the other shows I was thinking about watching for that season two with like so I think I'm big into Godzilla because they have like the Monarch Legacy of Monsters season two, and I
Mhm.
saw something from there because one of my friends, or you might be familiar with him, Linkamus Prime.
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Um, he mentioned something about this particular thing that happened in a call one night. I'm like, oh, I'm curious what it might be. And
Mhm.
I wasn't even intending to look for it, but like just thinking about it, like, oh, what could it be? Could it be this? Could it be that? And then I see
Yeah.
it, I'm just like,
Yep. Yep.
but no, anyways, yeah, that sequence after like the last like few episodes were like, I'm surprised how many characters, like of the main characters, ended up getting killed and like X'd off. But yeah, that sequence when Bo Cass and like the one Mandalorian are like in the foggy like forest and they go search, like seek out and like scan ahead, but you only see Bo Cass come back, and then it's like something's out there.
That's another thing if like what I said about this kind of being a horror homage.
Oh
Never
yeah.
go exploring by yourself, especially in a foggy forest. Do not do it,
Yeah,
or
no.
else you'll die. Especially by Vader.
Oh
If
yeah.
it's by Vader, yeah, I'm done with that. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
I'm done if I
you
see
got
Vader.
me.
Yeah.
um, I mean, great. Yeah, she wasn't alone. Like, she had the one Mandalorian with him, but even with that, yeah, no.
Yeah, did you hear how in an interview that she wanted Rook to go?
Oh, really?
Yeah, basically, I don't want to get into too much detail because I don't know if YouTube and stuff, but basically, she wanted to go out in the most brutal way possible. That force choke you hear, it's more brutal. It's really, really brutal.
And what a way to end like episode 9 as well. Maul is one of my favorite Siths, but Vader is not just another one of my favorite Siths, but he is my general favorite villain.
Hmm.
I love Vader.
Hmm.
Anytime he's on screen, I really don't care. I'd be on board.
Exactly. It's like if they do his character correctly, I'm standing up in my seat and I'm just gonna be paying attention the whole time. Whenever it comes to Vader, like, especially in the recent shows, I love what they do with Vader. Even in
Mhm.
Kenobi, even if like in any recent project he's done, like Rogue One or anything like that, I'm like, yes, that's Vader. Let's go. And it's just so cool. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I have seen Kenobi. I really loved what they did. Like the show overall, say what you want about it, but I think the stuff with Kenobi and Vader is very, very strong.
Hmm.
Um, Rogue One, one of my favorite sequences in
Hmm.
history, for sure.
Yep.
The hallway scene on the Tana, or no,
Yeah.
I was about to say Tana 4, but like they're not on the Tana 4 yet. They're still on like the ship over Scarif. But
Hmm.
like that sequence overall is just one of my favorites. And fun fact that I'll tell you about those, and I kind of touched briefly on it when I did the other Star Wars video. Long story short, once the Rogue One movie ended, corner of my eye, I see someone like lean forward, throw his hands out. I don't know if he was shocked or excited, but that was just a funny sequence.
Hmm.
But oh my god, the way that they handled Vader. First of all, I love that he didn't talk. I just love that he didn't talk. One of my favorite aspects is show don't tell.
Hmm.
And when it's handled well, it's handled well. And I think it was handled very nicely here. The way he was just aura farming everybody, just 3-on-1, just like not even like moving aggressively. He was just kind of like
Just like probably just the whole entire time, like behind the mask, he's just like, and
yeah.
probably in his mind, he's like, these people just don't even deserve to hear me talk. I'm just gonna do my thing, just swing my lightsaber, get these people down. It's like I'm gonna do my own thing type thing.
Oh, for sure,
Hmm.
definitely, and again, just the way he was just 3v1ing everybody was really sick. The way
Hmm.
he would just always, like, go to Maul's legs every time he's get injured, like, injure him with the cut to the legs. I think that fight overall, there's just a lot that's going on that's just really cool, very tense, very nail-biting, edge of your
Hmm.
seat kinda thing,
Yeah.
and, I found it funny the one moment when, like, they're in the cave or, like, the tomb, and it just kinda busts through, like, the fucking Kool-Aid Man just,
Yeah,
"Oh, yeah."
I was not expecting that, dude. I think I probably jumped from my seat. I think I did because again, the horror homages that they did for this. Oh yeah, Vader. Can you imagine a act like I know kind of like Fortnite did this with like their being hunted by Vader minigame, but imagine like a full on Star Wars horror movie but with Vader. I think that would do incredibly well,
Yeah,
honestly.
that would be good.
Hmm.
I'd be interested in seeing that,
Yeah.
for sure. I think Maul handled himself fairly. I mean, granted, he was injured, and I remember seeing, like, comments about, like, showing him to be weak against Vader, and, like, first off, he's injured, and the way that Maul moves is very like he's very agile and very like he relies on like the agility and like energy,
Hmm.
and he kind of hindered his movement. So like obviously, like him being wounded against a powerful, strong Vader, not a match made in heaven, let's just say.
Yeah.
And but I still think he handled himself very well, and it was kind of interesting, funny, silly thought of like Sam Witwer not facing Vader twice as two separate characters.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's so true. That's so true.
Um, but yeah, while that's going on, you have like Devin fighting like the two Sith Inquisitors, which I don't know why. Like going into the show, I thought that like there was gonna be a point where like the Inquisitors fail and then like they end up getting killed by Vader. I don't know
Hmm.
how they would handle that, but that was just going through my mind.
Hmm.
But no, they stuck through to the end pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Merrick kind of got pushed off the cliff. I don't know what happened to him. And then, like,
Yeah.
the 11th brother just kind of, like, ran off after getting injured in the leg.
Hmm.
But, um, yeah, no, just Vader just coming out of nowhere after killing Daki. It really got to showcase, like, we can kind of touch briefly on it now. Devin finally just, like, unleashing pretty much what we've been waiting for and what has
The
been
Force
hinting at.
Unleashed.
Yeah,
Literally. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. like what I mentioned, I love what they did with Devon's character, but her like seeing her master being killed by Vader was the snapping point that made her not essentially turn to the dark side, but actually use her rage and anger. I thought that that was executed. Mm, no pun intended. Uh, I thought that that was, done perfectly.
Mhm.
And seeing like Maul's like, Devin, we have to go, but she's like, no, I want to kill him, and essentially like using like a dark side voice. I thought that was spine chilling. And then I love what they did with like having the Anakin dark deeds like in the background whenever she's saying no after seeing her master get killed. Um was done beautifully. I'm like, yep, she's gonna be a Maul's apprentice now. Especially seeing like her eyes at the very end, like very veiny, very like dark and stuff, like very angry. I'm like, yeah, she's this is exactly what Maul wanted. Absolutely. And
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, why did he have to push Docky? Why? I think the moment she learns that Maul did that, if, you know, Lawson is still alive, we'll see. Um, she's going to be angry. She is going to turn on Maul, and she is not going to be happy
Oh,
if
for
she
sure.
learned. Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot about that, like, he pushes Docky into Vader, I think, right? Or,
Mm-hmm.
well,
He's like,
not Devin,
yeah,
Maul, yeah.
yeah, little force push. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember seeing a clip, well, like, the thumbnail for, like, a short clip of, like, "I can't believe they did this," and this they were
Yeah.
bold enough to do that in the show.
It's like, "I can't believe you done this," or yeah, something like that.
But, yeah, no, just essentially really coming down to, like, what Maul essentially wanted. Obviously, aside from, like, getting revenge on, like, what Sidious did to him, just
Mhm,
finding another apprentice of his own, and he essentially looks like he's gonna be able to do that. And another cool, funny note that I noticed was like while fighting the 11th brother, she loses her blue lightsaber, and
mhm,
then like Maul gives her one of his own,
mhm,
and he has the red. Similar, kind of felt very similar to when Anakin fought Asajj in the animated Micro 2D
mhm,
series,
mhm.
almost.
Yep, yep. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing, Lucasfilm.
Yeah. But no, just it was so cool to see Vader again. Him not talking, just letting his presence speak for himself. Although it'd be kind of interesting, like even if like the creators wanted him to have like some dialogue in the show,
Mhm,
I wouldn't be against it because I'd be
mhm,
kind of interested to see like especially with like how Vader looked in the Clone Wars and like how his overall presence is. Was
mhm,
kinda curious to see, like, how they would handle, I guess, like, the overall voice direction,
mhm.
but
Yeah.
no, I'm kinda just glad that they just were like, "No, you know this character long enough. You already know what he's who he is, what he's
Mhm.
done. Let's just"
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
"Let's just, let his presence speak for himself."
Mhm. I agree. Yeah. Um, and like what I mentioned earlier too, it's like he probably in his mind, it's like, I do not think that I should talk while while he's fighting those people. And it's just like, yeah, I don't think they're worthy of hearing me speak at all. And plus also too, like I will say I did find interesting that Maul was slowly able to build up of who Vader was because he kind of had an idea. But I won't get like too much into season 7 since you haven't seen that yet, and I don't want to spoil it. But
I
it's interesting that um he was kind of able to piece together. It's like, shoot, that might be Anakin.
mhm.
Crap. Yeah.
Yeah, and he even mentions too, like, in the show, he's like, "You're no inquisitor. What are you?"
Right.
And saw another funny comment where like somebody was speaking his way. It was like, "Hey, remember me? You almost hit me with a speeder bike."
It's like,
Uh-uh.
you hit me with the speeder bike.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I haven't seen season 7 yet, but I've seen some clips here and there, and I could kinda piece together some things, or at least to in my mind, think might happen, but yeah, once I eventually get to season 7 at some point, probably will help to, like, explain a few things. Because again, I kinda went into the show kinda, like, looking at it as, like, its own separate thing. I mean, obviously, they reference some stuff that happened with the Clone Wars and in the past, but I kinda just went into it as, like, its own separate story,
Hmm.
essentially.
Yeah.
But once I get around to watching, like, the entire series, maybe it'll help to clear up a few things, which is obviously the big hope, but
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I guess with that, we could start wrapping it up here, unless if there's anything else you wanna add, like final notes or touches. Was was there anything that stuck out to you, like, just I guess disappointing, but more so, like, stuff that could have been improved or anything like that? Any little nodes?
Um, Honestly, I think I had no disappointing things like in the show. Like honestly, I think this show is pretty much perfect. I mean, overall for my score, I do have it as a 97 out of 100. Because I thought, it's executed, perfectly. And I mean, you know what, there were some moments where it's just like, okay, cool. This is trying to, understand, what's happening because, first watch and everything and stuff. It's just like trying to figure out what's happening. But it's just like overall, now thinking about it, I think the show's perfect. It's really, really good. And I loved what they did with it. But
Mhm.
overall, I loved it. I loved it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure, and I guess, like I said, and I kinda mentioned a few things that, like, not necessarily, like, didn't like, but kinda just found where it's just, like, mainly just those 2 characters, like, Vario and Riley, mainly just because of, like, not could just be that, like, they didn't really do much with those characters, and, like, maybe some of the other stuff when, like, the Jet like, Maul is not on screen. I would have to go back and, like, watch the show a couple more times, see if, like, I missed anything, but as outside of that, I found this show to be really enjoyable as well. I love that Darth Maul is getting more love, especially in today's times,
Hmm.
and he's definitely a very popular character for a lot of good reason,
Hmm.
and I'm very excited to see because I think they greenlit it for a season 2, which
I
is
think
really
they did.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
can't wait to see what they do for that.
yeah, for especially with, like, now since Devin is really on board with being, like, a Sith. Well, maybe not a Sith just yet, but, like, on board with, like, "Okay, uh, sure, you can train me."
Yeah.
I don't know if they would introduce it yet, but, like, what you talking about, like, if she were to find out, like, what happened to Daki exactly and
Hmm.
her unleashing, I don't think necessarily wouldn't wanna see it just yet.
Hmm.
Like, let's say if there's, like, 3 seasons and, like, season 3 was, like, the final season.
Hmm.
I feel like that would be a good point to introduce that.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I agree 100% because like that's the pinnacle of the story, and at that moment it would be like, okay, yeah, she's gonna unleash it, and I agree. They'll probably will do that. In like the final season, like you said.
Or even, like, have, like, that happen somewhere early on in, like, that final season because the other thing too is, like, you still gotta or I don't know if they're gonna do this route, but, like, still don't wanna forget about how, like, Maul is trying to get revenge on, like, Sidious and
Hmm.
even, I guess, Vader as well. Because,
Hmm.
like, especially what happened with, like, the episode 10, so you don't wanna forget about that, like, too much, so maybe they'll have the big fight, but then, like, something happens to where, like, they'll, I guess, team up to fight Vader and Sidious. A lot could happen. I
Yeah.
don't know what they could do, but there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of gates that opened up, and I'm also very excited to see.
Yep. Yep. We'll see.
For
We'll see
sure.
whatever releases, but Lucasfilm, Star Wars, I'm excited. I can't wait for season two.
Oh, yeah, for sure, definitely. I
Yeah.
think my rating I would say out of 5 would be like I'd give it like a 4.5, I'll just say for right now. Maybe
Okay.
with, like, more season it's still very high.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I still really love this show overall, it's one of my favorite, as I mentioned at the top. Hopefully with, like, season 2, can't wait to see, like, what they do, and maybe that score will raise a bit,
Mhm.
but only time will tell, and I
Yep.
guess with that in mind, this pretty much wraps it up for this episode of the Film Chill. I'm your host, James Iselli. JS, thank you for joining me on this. It was a very fun discussion,
Yep.
and we highly recommend you guys checking this show out. It's airing currently right now on Disney Plus. Even if you don't have Disney Plus, I'm sure at some point down the line they'll release a physical copy of this because they have done that with some the show. I remember like going to like Walmart and seeing like Andor had
Yeah.
a
I
physical
have some
copy.
of them over there. Yeah, I have some of them.
I know like Andor did Mandalorian have like
Yeah.
physical copy? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have seasons 1, 2, and 3, and then I currently have Obi-Wan and then Andor season 1. I think they also did Andor season 2, and then I believe Ahsoka as well. I'll have to check on that, but yeah,
Mhm.
they did do some. Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm sure
hopefully from
it's
all.
some point down the line they'll release like physical copies.
Hopefully, please, someone, Disney, please. It'll look cool.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Film Chill. Apologies for if there's been any delays. I know I've been a broken record with like saying I apologize. I really have been meaning to like put more content out there, not just for YouTube, but Spotify as well. But I mentioned briefly in my recent one of my recent shorts that I did for Astro Train, like talking about my thoughts on that. A lot of stuff has been happening, let's just say.
Yeah.
Stuff outside. So hopefully, like somewhere down the road, I can publish more content more frequently as normal,
Mhm.
but can't make any promise.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I will definitely say look forward to more content coming very soon. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Entertaining Nerd. Follow the Film Show on Spotify, and definitely can't wait to have you back on the show very
Mhm.
soon, especially with like some upcoming projects that are coming out.
Yep. Yep. And again, always a pleasure to be back on. And if you ever want to have me back on, I'll be intrigued to check it out and to come back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Bye.